Hello, my name is Cheryl Kelmar, and I'm here today to read the introduction of my book, The Judge's Oath. So, introduction. Win as a self-represented litigant by knowing the tricks of the court before you step into a courtroom. This memoir is one woman's story through America's courts, beginning with faith in the justice system and ending with a determination to fight for meaningful reform. Along the way, I learned lessons that every self-represented litigant should know before filing a lawsuit. For too long, Americans have walked into court believing the truth, evidence, and the law alone determine the outcome of a case. Many discover that litigation involves procedural rules, strategic decisions, and courtroom realities that experienced attorneys understand, but most self-represented litigants do not. Today, that is beginning to change. Artificial intelligence is transforming access to justice by giving ordinary citizens tools that were once available only to large firms. AI can help people research the law, organize evidence, draft motions, and better understand court procedures. While technology cannot replace sound judgment or the role of the courts, it can help level the playing field for people who cannot afford hundreds of dollars per hour for legal representation. My hope is that my journey and the lessons I learn, often the hard way, will help others navigate the legal system with greater confidence and avoid many of the obstacles I encountered. This memoir is a call for court reform. Throughout these pages, I propose practical reforms that would make our courts more transparent, accountable, and accessible to everyone, especially the growing number of self-represented litigants. One example is requiring every court transcript to be filed on the public docket, along with every other document in a case. Greater transparency would strengthen public confidence and help ensure accountability throughout the judicial process. The title of this memoir, The Judge's Oath, comes from the solemn promise every judge makes before taking office to do equal right to the poorest to the rich. That promise is the standard by which every litigant hopes to be judged. Like many Americans, I believe judges consistently followed the law, carefully evaluated the evidence, and faithfully applied the facts. My own experience led me to question whether our system always lives up to that ideal. Rather than simply accepting those experiences, I chose to write this memoir so readers can judge my journey for themselves and consider whether reforms are needed. My story begins in Detroit, where my mother raised three children alone before becoming a single parent when I was only 2 years old. She worked every day as a secretary for the City of Warren Water Department. Although money was scarce, she refused welfare, accepting only subsidized housing so we could attend good public schools. When my older sister was only 13, she became my authority figure. Whenever I asked for help, her answer was almost always the same. Figure it out yourself. At the time, I thought she was simply being unkind. Looking back, however, those four words became one of the greatest lessons of my life. They taught me resilience, independence, and the determination to solve problems that others would not solve for me. Those lessons carried me through every chapter of my life. I earned a bachelor's and master's degree in computer engineering. Later, I earned a law degree while raising my son as a single mother. Founded a software company, received four NIH SBIR grants, employed up to 20 people, owned seven homes, managed more than 100 tenants, and represented myself in numerous legal disputes because I simply could not afford attorneys charging hundreds of dollars per hour. Then, a seemingly minor auto accident began a legal journey that would change my life in ways I never imagined. This memoir follows that journey through lawsuits, victories, setbacks, personal sacrifices, and profound disappointments. More importantly, explains why those experiences convince me that meaningful court reform is essential if our justice system is to fulfill its promise of equal justice under the law. My hope is that readers will not only come to understand my story, but also join the conversation about how we can build a court system that is more transparent, more accountable, and more accessible for everyone. The documents referenced throughout this memoir are available at www.thejudgesoath.com using the password provided at the end of this book. Finally, I have an article called The Self-Represented Litigant in AI on my Substack. Check it out and have a great day.